So, following a number of requests asking me to share a few words in relation to the month of Ramadan, this blessed month, the month where we are all engaging in fasting and where we are all guests of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His banquet. I think essentially what is really important for us to realize and appreciate and understand is that we haven't done anything that makes us more advantageous in the eyes of Allah and thereby gift us with being guests of His in this month. We haven't sort of done any acts of worship which makes us more meritorious or makes us more in favor in the eyes of Allah, thereby allowing us to be guests of Him. We've just simply been ourselves. In fact, we haven't even changed much about ourselves that makes us more favorable in the eyes of Allah. And therefore, we have to realize and understand that we haven't really done much ourselves. It's simply Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who's doing all of this. And in the last sermon on the Friday before the month of Ramadan, the Prophet says in that sermon that we've been invited by Allah as guests to a month which is coming to us with blessings, with mercy and with forgiveness. Bil-barakati wal-rahmati wal-maghfirah, as it says in the khutbah. And so this month is infinitely filled with blessings. It's infinitely filled with abundance of divine favor. It's filled with abundance of forgiveness. And we really haven't done much to deserve that. It is just all on the part of Allah who is expressing that onto creation and sharing that with us and giving us that favor. And because we haven't really done anything to deserve this, and we haven't done anything to make us worthy of this, we simply have to be in a place of recipiency. We simply have to be in a place of being able to receive that. And so I know a lot of us are very much occupied and busy with trying to do extra acts of worship in this month, which is a very good thing. I know many of us are trying to perform more prayers. Many of us are trying to perform, working to act and do more recitation of the Holy Quran. Many of us are reciting more dhikr of Allah. And we're doing all these acts of worship and acts of charity and so on and so forth, which are all very good and all very rewarding. But it should never be at the expense of us filling up spaces just so that we can feel that we're gaining more by doing this in the eyes of Allah. Simply put, we are at the mercy of Allah. And it is Allah who's just pouring down and showering His favors on us and giving us this advantage and giving us these favors. We just simply need to be in a place which is open. We need to be in a place which is expansive. We need to be in a place which is decluttered from the noise and the world around us, decluttered from our own souls. Because all of those things, being confined, being constricted, being restricted, and being barriered or barred internally, or being too emotionally invested in the world around us and all the noise that's going on around us in the world, is preventing us from being able to receive that from Allah. When we are in a place of being open, when we're in a place of being expansive, when we're in a place of being empty, which essentially what we're doing when we're fasting is that all we need to do is be in this fasted state, a fasted state of not just the GI tract of our stomachs, but a fasted state of the mind also, being fasting away, being empty of the world, and a fasted state of the soul, being empty of the world and attachments to the world. When we can come to that place of being empty, we allow ourselves to declutter the soul. The most valuable thing that we have is our own souls. But we can't really appreciate what we have internally within ourselves until we've emptied it or cleaned it or given it a good spring clean. In the same way, we only really appreciate our homes when we give it a deep clean and we spring clean and we dust all the dust off the bookshelves. We give everything a good wipe down. We reorganize everything in the house. We dust the furniture. We vacuum underneath the sofas and so on, and we get rid of all the dust and everything. And once we've done all of that, we sit back and we really appreciate the home and say, now this is a comfortable home. Now this is a homey place. Now I enjoy coming home and being here. But when it's messy and it's filled with rubbish and food that's been left out for a long time, and our clothes are all over the place, and the bookshelf hasn't been dusted for a long time, we don't enjoy coming to a place like that. We don't really appreciate the house the way it ought to be appreciated. But when we give it that good spring clean, then we really appreciate the house. The same is with the soul of the human being. Through the year, we've occupied a lot of space internally with ourselves, with the noise of the world around us. And that's part and parcel of living in the world. But Ramadan is a time where we have to come and spring clean all of that, give it a good clean, so that we can appreciate the month and basically be in a place which is clean, cleansed, and empty of all things other than Allah, so that we are in a place of being able to receive. All of the acts of worship are merely a catalyst to help and assist this, help us to be able to remove all the dust, remove all the chains, all the rust that's settled on our hearts, to help us come to this place that we can simply be and receive. And I think if we really want to gain advantage of this month, the best thing that we could do is simply to remain in this fasted state of not only the physical body, but of our minds and of our hearts and of our souls. If we can remain fasted in all these states, then we can be in the perfect position to be recipient of divine grace and blessings and rahmah and maghfirah and forgiveness and so on, as the Prophet says in this blessed month. So this is just a few points that I think that will be beneficial. Inshallah, we'll seek to say a few more words through the month.